Hello, hello, hello. Music is too loud. Hey guys. How are you? It's time for me to answer your goddamn questions. Welcome everybody. Just waiting more people. Waiting more people. Gee. They just join and leave. They probably don't like that I cut my hair. Come and ask your goddamn questions, everybody. Well, I've monetized in this video, so they probably leaving because, you know. Wow, what the hell is going on? Nobody's getting notified or what? What the hell? Come on, YouTube. Tell people, call them on their phones and tell them that I'm live to answer their goddamn questions. Jesus, man. Not even the streams are this low. The Let's Plays. But I'm here, everybody. I'm here. You're probably gonna start saying, hey, you didn't say something in the community section. Well, that's because I wanted all the attention to go to that other video, right? And I would have posted something, but I told you before that every Sunday after that Jrpgs show, I will be here doing a Q&A live stream to hang out with you guys. Ah, there we go. Thanks for the questions. Welcome everybody. What's up? Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. My what? Oh man, you're probably very new to this channel if you're asking that question. Very new, and I mean very new. Like you just started watching my content yesterday, maybe. How come you're asking what's my best PS1 RPG? Seriously? It's called Shadow Tower. Do I have any favorite fantasy novels? Yes, I do, but I don't read a lot of fantasy because I feel that if I start reading a lot of fantasy, it will greatly influence my work. You know, when it comes to reading and writing, I am very easy to influence by other authors. So I tend to stay away from them. One of my favorites is probably Greenpow. You probably don't know it because the guy is not from the US or anywhere. Favorite Saturn RPG import? I've only played one import, and that is the Japanese version of Magic Knight Rayearth. I thought it was fun, but I thought it was not great. I mean, not just wow, you know, mind-blowing. I think there are other better Sega Saturn RPGs out there. And, I barely touched the Sega Saturn. This is why I made the video. The best Jrpgs you'll probably never play. Some of those games, that goes for me too. You know, without emulation, I can't play them. And emulating Saturn RPGs is a pain in the ass. I can't make it work. I can't make the Sega Saturn emulator work. So I've only touched and played for a few minutes some of those RPGs. I thought the better one was Dragon Force, because you know me, I love me some strategy RPGs, but I think I only played for one mission. We didn't make it very far, my friend and me. You're going to send me Albert Odyssey? Wow, that's very expensive, man. Just you watch the video. You know how much it goes for nowadays, but if you still want to do that, I will greatly appreciate it. Just reach out on Facebook if you want to. I don't have a Sega Saturn, but I have a friend with a Sega Saturn, and I know he can lend the Sega Saturn to me so I can play any physical media. Thank you, Dylan. Thank you very much, Dylan. My favorite top 5 games you would like to see for new generation? I don't really care much about the new generation because the PlayStation 5 is crazy expensive nowadays. And there's barely any games for it. So I would rather see some of my previous favorite games I mean, some of my favorite games from previous consoles on the PS4. Like I said, I don't care much about PS5 yet. I don't have one, and I'm not planning on getting one until it goes down in price considerably. So all I want is a Saga trilogy remastered. I want a Grow Lancer collection, a Suikoden collection, but that ain't gonna happen, right? More realistically speaking, I want Falcom to release official English localizations of Zero no Kiseki and Ao no Kiseki, and maybe a collection of Trails in the Sky, you know, on the Switch or the PS4 so more people can play it. I don't like Pokemon. Nope. And I've tried. You know, I've played a hell of a lot of Pokemon games, and I couldn't get into a single one of them. Not even that Pokemon game on the Nintendo DS. You remember that one? What was the name? Pokemon Conquest? It's a grid-based strategy RPG and a crossover with Nobunaga's Ambition. Yeah, just picture that in your head. A Pokemon crossover with Nobunaga's Ambition. Thank you, Rem. Thank you very much. Yes, I've seen the new Tales of Arise gameplay. It looks pretty badass, but I'm disappointed. Well, I guess I'm not that disappointed because I rarely play games with other people in local co-op mode. But I guess I'm a little bit disappointed it won't have a multiplayer couch co-op mode. That kind of sucks. But the gameplay looks freaking amazing. I'm excited about it. It's coming out in September, right? Well, I'm probably gonna have to wait until it goes down in price too. Have you ever had long hair? Nope. The longest I've had, and I think you can see in some of my videos, were the last few weeks before I moved back to Mexico while I was still in Canada. But like long, no, never in my life. It doesn't grow very well. My hair is kind of weird. It's a little bit straight at the beginning, but the more it grows, the more curly it becomes. So it will be a huge pain in the ass because instead of growing like this, it will grow like this. And it will take forever. So no. I'm not supporting any Kickstarters right now. I wanted to support Eiyuden Chronicle, but I missed my chance. Well, at the very least I made a video about that, so I promoted the project. The video hit 30,000 views, so, you know, I did my part. What's the weather like in Mexico? It's fucking... It's a volcano, man. Like 30-something degrees. Are you gonna play Resident Evil Village? Nah. It's like in first person, right? I don't like first person games. To me, Resident Evil died with Resident Evil 4. It became something completely different. It should have changed the name to something else. Resident Evil 4 is a great game, but I couldn't get into it because I came from the older Resident Evil games. So when I played that game, I was like, this is not Resident Evil. This is something different. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you very much. Will you use Will you use Freed as much as possible for the remainder of this week? No, I told you there's a mission where he's he has to be in your party. I think it's the second time you face Neglord in the future, you know. But yeah, I'm probably gonna have to use that guy whether I like it or not. And Freed is a very good unit during the war battle, so I'm gonna have to use it no matter what. Use him. Did you beat Xenoblade Chronicles 2? Nope, I didn't. I dropped it too. I was like 5 hours in. I was like, you know, this game is great. It's pretty darn good, but I have a huge backlog and I didn't love the game. I didn't love the game enough to make me give it priority over the rest of my backlog. I'm planning on beating it one day, but not anytime soon. What do you think of the Netflix adaptation of Castlevania? I think it's freaking amazing. I'm anxiously waiting for the 4th season, which is coming out this year, I think. Very soon, I think. Is it out already? I don't know, but, you know, I watched the first 3 seasons. Amazing. I'm excited for Hajimari no Kiseki. You know, I'm a big fan of Trails of Cold Steel, so of course I want the new one. Is there an English name for it yet? Is it going to be Trails of Cold Steel 5? I don't think so, right? Because Hajimari means something else. Steel Panther? Is that a band? Never heard of it. I played Rocket League once, just once, at my friend's house, Oscar's house, with another friend there. It's fun, but it's not my type of game. How is the JRPG community in Mexico versus Canada? What are the differences? Wow, interesting question, man. Well, in terms of retro stores and all that jazz, it's pretty much the same. There's a bunch of retro stores, but most of them are downtown. I mean, if you go all around the city, you're not gonna find them. You're barely gonna find them. There's like, I don't know, maybe one or two if you're lucky. And I'm talking about, I can't talk about the entire countries. I can only talk about the Ontario scene and the Jalisco scene, you know, which is where I live. The states, well, you call them provinces in Canada. But in terms of buying and the variety of games, the catalog, it's very different because we in Mexico have to import a lot of freaking games, right? A lot of them. And in Canada, it's easier to import them because they release their own games there. Games are released there, officially there, the Canadian versions of them. I have a bunch of here in my collection. But so in terms of, you know, variety and library, in terms of genres, I mean, you barely find any JRPGs here in Mexico or shoot 'em ups, for example. But in Canada, you find them like crazy, and every single store has at least a bunch of them, right? Even the obscure ones. So in terms of that, it's very different. Plus, you gotta consider the fact that Mexico is like a second/third world country, so a lot of people don't have the money to buy certain types of games. And to answer your question, how is the market right now, the community right here in Mexico, nowadays with the pandemic, it's terrible. It's terrible, man. Every single video game in existence has skyrocketed in price, and a lot of people just stopped collecting, like me. I stopped collecting. Right now I'm on hold. I'm patiently waiting for the pandemic to go away, so some prices can go down, things can calm down, so we can start collecting again. And plus, because of the pandemic, you know, I haven't gone to any retro store since I got here. I only went to this retail store and I bought Dragon Quest Heroes 2 sealed, but that's a official retail store. So I'm eager to go collecting once again, but it's been hard. And the community is more respectful, but more cynical. I mean, fans are, well, it's a pain in the ass everywhere because everything is globalized nowadays, right? The social media is Mexicans just reading everything that goes on in the entire world. So communities behave somewhat similar to any other gaming community out there. There's a bunch of assholes, a bunch of smartasses, a bunch of really cool people, respectful people. We got a little bit of everything. Did you play Bloodstained? I did play Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. I love it, which is the Symphony of the Night clone. It was amazing, man. I loved it. The best Valkyria Chronicles is the first one, in my opinion. Although the fourth one is a close second. I think the first Valkyria Chronicles is the best. Thanks for joining, everybody. Yes, I do consider Pokemon as RPGs. I just don't like them. What was your first RPG? What year was it? Were you... Oh... My first RPG. No. Here. Right here. This is the very first RPG I ever played in my life. Do you like Pantera? Not really. I think the guy... What's his name? Vinnie Paul? No. What's the name of the vocalist of Pantera? I think he's a jerk, you know, I've seen some interviews, and he's always like really stoned, or he's really fucking weird. And, well, musically speaking, I do like some songs, like Cemetery Gates. It's one of my favorites, but I wouldn't consider myself a Pantera fan. Scarlet Nexus, that's the upcoming Bandai Namco game, right? If it is, I think I'm interested. Looks really interested. Zelda. I don't dislike Zelda. I prefer playing Zelda over Pokemon, but I'm not a Zelda fan. I think the one that I like the most is A Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. You need this shirt. This one. I bought it on EB Games in Canada. While I was in Canada. For like... What was like $10? Philip Anselmo. Yeah, that's the Pantera guy. Five Finger Death Punch. Nah, I've listened to some songs and... I don't know, man. It's a great band, but the music... The songs I've listened to... I don't know. They don't like me. Don't let me... I don't feel anything when I listen to them. Static X, yes. I used to like... Rest in peace, Wayne Static. Great band. I'm not the biggest fan, but I do like some songs. Wisconsin Death Trip, the whole album was bonkers, man. Omega Quintet is probably the worst RPG on the PlayStation 4. The worst. The worst I've played so far. It's very bad. I love the battle system is kinda good, but the rest is trash. Don't play the game, man. Do you like the current modern state of RPGs? I love them all. I love them all, man. I wish more people like you, no offense, could get into more modern RPGs. There's a lot of gold out there. You just need to find it. You don't even need to look for it. Just watch my videos. I usually strongly recommend a hell of a lot of modern RPGs. Do you still make music? No, I stopped making music a long time ago. I realized I didn't have the proper equipment, the patience, the discipline, the technique. I stopped. Best Shin Megami Tensei game in your opinion? I think it's probably Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse, but Devil Survivor is a close second. What's your favorite kind of food? Mexican food, man! I love it! I don't really like this country, but if there's one thing I love, is the food. Do you think Drakengard 1 and 2 are worth playing? Yes, they are. Too bad those games are a little bit expensive nowadays, right? Hard to find. If you can buy them or emulate them, I do recommend playing them. Drakengard 1, in terms of story, is amazing, but in terms of gameplay, it isn't that good. It's just full of problems. Drakengard 2, the story is weaker, but the gameplay is much better. So yes, I think they're worth playing, just don't expect them to be as great as Nier, for example. Which is, in your opinion, the console in history with the best RPGs? The PlayStation 2, man. Hands down the PlayStation 2. I know you PS1 elitists will say the PS1, but no, for me it's the PlayStation 2. Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest? Nowadays, Dragon Quest, obviously. Are you going to return to Canada? Probably one day, not anytime soon though, because I was just there for a year and a half. And plus, the pandemic is still ongoing. So yeah, but I'm planning on returning to Canada one day. What's my favorite band? 9 Inch Nails. 9 Inch Nails. Pretty famous nowadays, pretty famous. I mean, Trent Reznor, he has 2 Oscars, man. He won an Oscar. Yeah, pretty famous. It didn't used to be that famous here in Mexico, but nowadays it is. Which version of Valkyrie Profile should I play beside the price? Well, the PSP. If you can't get your hands on the PS1 version, which is expensive as hell, go with the PSP version. It's fairly cheap, I guess. Favorite Mega Tensei game, Devil Survivor 1 or Apocalypse? Who is your favorite RPG protagonist? Probably Lenneth Valkyrie. Lenneth Valkyrie from Valkyrie Profile. Speaking about Valkyrie Profile, for girls, for guys, probably Oswald from Odin Sphere, or Stock from Radiant Historia. Do you think that Dragon Quest XI is a childish game? No. The thing about the Dragon Quest games is that they're so traditional and so charming that everybody can play them. You know, they're for kids, they're for teenagers, they're for adults. It's an open market. That's the beauty of Dragon Quest. That's why sometimes the stories in Dragon Quest seem a little bit childish, a little bit, you know, like from the anime cartoons of the 90s, of the early 90s or late 80s. That's why, but I don't think they're childish RPGs at all. PSP version is expensive too now. It doesn't surprise me. See what I mean? What's the point in collecting nowadays? There's no point. You know, if this keeps on going, you know, it's gonna force people into emulation sooner or later, or into the digital media. Do you like Final Fantasy X or Legend of Dragoon better? Which one do you think is the better game? I think Legend of Dragoon is better, because as much as I liked Final Fantasy X, I'm not the biggest fan of that game. I'm not the biggest fan of Dragoon either, but I think I prefer Dragoon over Final Fantasy X. Enchanted Arms is very good. I think the story is kinda meh, but the battle system, man, is great. Yeah, I think it's a great game. Underrated. Maybe not that underrated, but you know. Have you played any of the Romance of the Three Kingdoms strategy games? No, I've never. You know, I was this close on playing one on the Super Nintendo once, but it didn't work. The copy didn't work, and that's as close I got to playing them. I've never played them, and they don't look like my type of game. Even though I love strategy games, I like strategy RPGs, but regular strategy games, no non-RPGs, I'm not the biggest fan. Can you recommend games like Final Fantasy and PSP? I have a bunch of videos on the PSP, dude. Yes, I'm from Mexico. I currently live in Guadalajara. I'm from Mexico. What is the best PS4 game you played until now? You mean game? Any game, including RPGs or non-RPGs? Did you have any other names for your YouTube channel? Previously, this channel was simply called Erick Landon, and before that, it was called Roxy Cloud. In fact, when I made this account, the first name I put on the channel was Roxy Cloud. The last Remnant Remastered? No, I haven't tried it. I tried the original and I hated the game. Do you think games are too easy these days? No, I think you can still find a lot of brutally hard games nowadays. Try games like Octopath Traveler, Demon Souls, probably. There's a lot of them. Favorite gaming console, the PlayStation 2. Did you play Recettear? No? No, Roxy Cloud, as in Roxy, R-O-C-K-S-Y. Cloud because Final Fantasy VII. When I made the account, I was a huge fan of Final Fantasy VII, believe it or not, so Cloud is because of Final Fantasy VII. And Roxy is a character I created when I was in high school, and I used to draw these little comics, these little funny comics, to make my classmates laugh, and that was the name of the character. Have I played The Last Story on the Wii? You mean this baby? Yes, I have, and I think it's one of the best RPGs on the Wii. Any book recommendations similar to JRPG stories? Well, there's this author, you know, he's called Erick Landon. He has a YouTube channel about RPGs, and he wrote a book called Terra Gaiden, which is highly influenced by Suikoden and Fire Emblem. So I recommend that author and that book. It's pretty good. Yes, I do play other types of games. My second favorite genre is fighting games. I play platformers, beat 'em ups, survival horror games, shoot 'em ups. I play a little bit of everything. The only genres I don't like are first-person shooters and sports games. I haven't seen any info, any news on Eiyuden Chronicle. I think they're probably still working on the game, developing the game, and that's probably gonna be the entire year. How did you become so fluent in English? When I was 10 years old, I started listening to a lot of English bands like Guns N' Roses, Aerosmith. I even got into Nirvana, Green Day, back then in the 90s. And I really wanted to know what the hell they were saying. So I started to do research to really read the lyrics and just pretty much trying to find out what the hell were they saying. So I started practicing English since I was very little. Thank you, Padiddle Z. What do you think your completion rate is on the games you cover? About 60%. 60%. I always try to beat RPGs, whether I have talked about them or not. You know, I think 60-65%, you know, will be my completion rate. Or if you mean completion rate as in doing absolutely everything, like do all the side quests, get all the weapons, all the characters, all the endings, all the whatever, I think it's like 20%. I'm not really a completionist. Most of the games I just play the main story and move on, and if I like the game a lot, on my second playthrough, I usually do everything there is to be done, right? But beating RPGs, you know, it's probably around my 65%, I'd say, but, you know, as completionist, pretty low. Do you wish traditional RPGs had different influences than medieval or Japanese? Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot of experimental RPGs out there. Take Girl Lancer, for example. They take place in this, not exactly a medieval world, but a little bit medieval, but the characters are dressed like in the 80s, right? I think that's very original. More RPGs should follow that example. Try to be original in terms of lore, background, setting. Okay, which Fire Emblem game do you think is a good introduction to the series? I made a video about that. There's a bunch of them. It depends on what type of gamer you are. I strongly suggest you watch that video. I have a recommendation for each type of gamer. Do you think Metroid will come back? But is it death? What? I didn't know Metroid was death. Is Wild Arms XF for beginners? Crossfire? No. I think it's a brutally hard, unbalanced, and it's not a good game. It's good at the beginning. The first missions are like, wow, this is pretty good, but then it hits you with a certain mission, escort mission, that ruins everything. No, I don't think it's a good game for beginners. What's the latest non-RPG game you played and liked very much? Probably, I think the last one I played was Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, the one that has the Persona characters, Ruby characters, Under Night in Birth characters. It's a fighting game, so yeah, I think that's the one that I played last and I loved. Will they ever make a new Shining Force? We can expect maybe something like a remaster, a port, a re-release. I don't think the series will get a remake or a continuation. It's dead. It's Sega. Sega is poor. Oh, I'm missing a few PlayStation 3 RPGs to play, so I can make the tier list and also the hardest RPGs on the PS3. I'm missing a few, but I'm getting there, don't worry. I know nothing about Cyberpunk, man. I'm not sure if it's overrated or underrated. No idea, you know, I haven't played the game. All I know is that it got a lot of shit because, you know, it didn't meet anybody's expectations, but I haven't played the game. What do I think of the Tales games? I think they're amazing. I'm a big fan. Predictions for E3? All I ask is for Atlus to give us an update on Shin Megami Tensei 5. That's all I want to see. What is the best RPG game you played until now? The last best RPG I played was Dragon Quest Heroes 2. I got very close to the end, but I had to give it a break because I hurt my thumb. Because, you know, it's a Musou type of games, and I was like, yeah. Will you work for a video game company making RPGs? I don't think so, because I'm terrible. I'm the worst fucking employee you'll ever meet. I hate authority. I can't work for somebody else. I would like to write a script for a story, like a collaboration. But, you know, if a studio were to hire me, I don't think I could make it. The best advice I can give you if you are a beginner writer is just to write. Try to work a hell of a lot on your grammar, but other than that, just write whatever you feel you want to write. That's the best advice I can give. Are there any games you hate that you felt had their potential was wasted? Yeah. I think a very good example is... here's one. This guy here. This is a game, I don't really hate it, but I think it was a completely wasted potential because it had pretty unique ideas. It has two different battle systems, man. A regular action RPG for the normal enemies, and then during the boss fights, it's like real-time turn-based, something like that. You know, it has some really cool ideas, but all of them were totally wasted. Totally wasted. It was like they didn't know what they were trying to do or how they were trying to do it. That's a perfect example of a game with great ideas totally wasted. Chemco RPGs. Alright, Chemco RPGs are good, but that's about it. None of the ones I've played stand out. The only one that stands out a little bit is like Mystic Chronicles or Revenant Saga. Those are the best, but they're still probably above average. Hello from Kuwait. Thanks, man. Did you really donate $500? You are from Kuwait, so what's the currency there? I mean, you're shitting me, right? What's going on? Holy shit, man, are those 500 US dollars? Oh my god, I'm gonna have a heart attack. Holy shit, man. Wow. Holy shit. Oh my god. Oh, I need a drink, man. Fuck. Oh my god. Wow. Those are not $500, man. I mean, it looks like 500. What the fuck, dude? Oh my god. Wow, man. Thanks. Thanks, man. Wow. Fuck. Wow. Oh my. Oh my. Wow, man. Thanks a bunch. Thank you very fucking much, man. Jesus. Wow. Oh my god. Wow. Thanks, man. Stage 1, huh? I'm not gonna waste it. I'm probably gonna spend it on a physical copy of... I already have Suikoden 2. Panzer Dragoon Saga. Oh, I can't afford it. Fuck, it's $1,000. Oh, man. Thanks, man. Thanks, man. Appreciate it. That was crazy. That was fucking crazy, man. Fuck. Woo. Man, goosebumps. Wow. Oh my god. Alright, guys. Back to your questions. Jesus. Yeah, I'm probably gonna get East 9 and Near Replicant now. Wow. I mean, YouTube is still gonna get 30% of that. So it's like 150 for YouTube, 350 for me. Still ahead of a lot. Alright, back to... Oh, thanks, man. Have you ever rage quit to break a controller? Nah. When I was little, I probably did throw a controller or two, probably NES controllers. I'm pretty sure. But nowadays, you know, when I became an adult, No, I haven't thrown away the controller. I don't want to spend money on another controllers. What do I expect from Shin Megami Tensei 5? I expect the game to be turn-based. That's all I want. Please, Atlus, do not change the battle system. That's all I expect. Do whatever you want. Well, the story needs to be dark, like any other Shin Megami Tensei 5 out there. So, please, just stay true to your style, Atlus. That's all I ask. Those are my expectations. I don't care if the game is inferior to the other Shin Megami Tensei games. Just give me something dark and turn-based. That's all. If you're gonna be stuck in an island alone and you have only one game to bring with you, which one will it be? Probably Chrono Cross, but I've played that game so many times, I've done everything there is to be done, that after a couple of playthroughs I will be bored. It needs to be one game that I've only beaten like once or twice, and that I really liked, so I can keep beating it over and over again. It's a tough question, man. I think I will choose a game like... How about... I'm pretty sure if I brought with me Octopath Traveler, it will drive me crazy. I don't know, man. Damn. Best series where all titles are very connected? Trails. The Trails games. No, it's not my favorite series. Oh, maybe the Ys games? Hell yeah, I'm gonna go with Ys. That's my answer. Ys. The Ys series, they're all connected. What about Suikoden then? But Suikoden is dead. Well, if we're including series that are dead, like Suikoden, then Suikoden. If not, Ys. Final Fantasy IX. How do I make a living? Well, just YouTube, of course, and I'm also an author. I write books, I'm an independent author, and that's what I do for a living. Just YouTube and my books. What's my favorite Super Nintendo game? Non-RPG, it's probably Super Mario World. I know, it's a very expected and overrated answer, but I love the damn game. And RPG, probably Final Fantasy VI or Super Mario RPG. I'm gonna pick Super Mario RPG because Final Fantasy VI, I beat the game on the PlayStation 1. I do have a Discord, but it's exclusive to patrons, dude. You gotta join my Patreon page to be able to be on the Discord. Hey, no problem, guys. Thanks for asking. Thanks for joining. Yggdra Union. Yes, I do like it. I have it back there. I think it's a very good game. But it's extremely hard. Very hard to get into. I made it very far. Actually, never beat the game. It beat the crap out of me because I got to a point. You can fuck up in that game, your entire walkthrough. If you didn't do this or that, you reach a certain point where it's a point of no return and it's a dead end. That's what happened to me. But it's a great game nonetheless, just I would advise to play that game with a walkthrough. Strongly advised. My favorite Final Fantasy game is Final Fantasy IX. It's really, it's one of the hardest on the PSP. Again, no, I didn't play The Last Remnant Remastered. Only the original, and I didn't like it. Do you like action visual novels like Zanki Zero? So that's how you call them? Action visual novels? I call them pretty much RPGs. Zanki Zero, I have the game. It's pretty good. It's in my backlog. I only played the game for like 4 hours. I did 2 streams on the game, and each stream was 2 hours long, so I played the game for 4 hours, right? I thought it was pretty good. Just, it bugs me that it's a first-person dungeon crawler. I'm not the biggest fan of those games, but it's so weird and so unique that I really want to I really want to play it. What difficulty do you usually play on? Depends on the game. When it comes to action RPGs or any action game whatsoever, I always play on easy because I suck at them. When it comes to turn-based or strategy, most of the time I go normal. Any Ghost JRPG you can recommend aside from Artonelico or Atelier? Do they do anything else besides those? Wow, I don't know, man. Do they really do anything else besides Tonelico and Atelier? You got me curious now. I'm gonna look for it. Ghost. Alright, it was founded in 1993. Let's see. Atelier, Artonelico, Manakimia. Manakimia is part of Atelier, so... But if that doesn't answer your question... Look at this, just go to Wikipedia. Oh! Knights of Azure. Easy answer, man. Knights of Azure 1 and 2. They're overloaded with fan service, but they're amazing action RPGs. Have you played Castlevania Aria of Sorrow and other platforming RPGs? I don't consider any Castlevania game as an RPG, but I never played Aria of Sorrow. I played some Castlevania games, but just not that one. My best RPG with mech battles. Would you consider the big knights in the Trails series as mechs? If not, I think I'm gonna choose Xenogears or the Xenosaga trilogy. Chrono Trigger or Lufia 2, which is better? Damn, man. I think they're both equally amazing. I might just choose Lufia 2, but that's a tough one, man. Yeah, Symphony of the Night is like... I played Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. It does have some strong RPG elements, but it just doesn't feel like an RPG to me. Have you played the 999 series? Oh, you mean like the visual novels with puzzle? No, I haven't. Though I keep getting recommendations on those. The Ace Attorney games. I've never played a single Ace Attorney game. Never in my life. Probably should get to it. That's a good question, man. What do I prefer, the Shin Megami Tensei or the Ys music? Damn! Why you guys are asking such complicated questions today? Come on, how are you? Why do you make me? You're really gonna make me choose between Shin Megami Tensei and Ys? Fuck, man, don't do this to me. Damn, I can't. I can't. You know what? I'll just answer Ys, just for the fuck of it. Tomorrow I might have a different answer. Do you watch Demon Slayer? Nope. I know it's up there on Netflix, but I haven't watched the series. Do you think Shin Megami Tensei will be like Persona 3, 4, and 5? You mean Shin Megami Tensei 5, right? I think it's going to be like Apocalypse. Like with some high school students, some tropes here and there. Hopefully not, but from what I've seen in the trailers, it looks that way. But I don't think it's going to be like Persona. No. Do I think we will ever get a Baten Kaitos 3? Oh man. I feel ya. I don't think so. Hopefully, but I don't think so. I did a video on JRPG Burnout. It got pretty successful, the video, you know, it hit like 40,000 views. Yasunori Mitsuda or Nobuo Uematsu? Mitsuda for me. I love Uematsu, but Mitsuda is my all-time favorite music composer, RPG, video game music composer. What about Cross Edge? I don't think it's a crappy game. I don't think it's a great game either. Had some pretty cool ideas. You know what? Somebody was asking before a game that was kind of bad, that had a lot of potential. I don't think it's a bad game, Cross Edge, but I think it had a lot of potential being a crossover and all. Yeah, the music is amazing in that game. Most influential authors in your writer career. Well, you know what? I usually don't stick with one author only, because I don't want just one author to influence my books, my writing style. So I usually just read one or two books from a lot of authors and that's it. But I guess I could quote my influences on Anne Rice. Who else? No, definitely not. No. Well, there's a bunch of Mexican authors, Spanish authors. I'm forgetting the guy that wrote my favorite book of all time, which is The Winter of the Fisher. He's a Canadian author. Winter of the Fisher. Cameron Langford. That's a strong influence on my writing career. And I guess I could choose Dostoevsky, because I read this book about prison, and it greatly influenced my thoughts on the Reaper's Thorn, you know. Anyway, will Yuzo Koshiro make it in your top 5 composers? No, probably top 10, but not top 5. What is better for you, voice in Japanese or English? Well, I don't care either way, you know. I usually go with English because I grew up playing RPGs in English, right? So, but really, I don't really mind. I'm fine with whatever. Romancing Saga. Oof. I play this. The remake. This is the one that I've beaten. But the others, Romancing Saga 2 and 3, because this is the remake of the first one. Romancing Saga 2 and 3, I have never played them. And I know favorite Fire Emblem game, Path of Radiance, the Holy Grail. Brutally expensive, I know, but it's my favorite. So what was I saying? That I've never played the original Romancing Saga games. I know they're out there on all modern systems, but nope. Favorite Vanillaware game, Odin Sphere, by far. Edge of Eternity. I don't play on Steam. I only play on consoles. Or if I play on my computer, it's probably an old emulator, like retro emulator. So I don't know Edge of Eternity. Do I like Queen? Queen the band? Not really, I'm not a fan. I like some songs, but I wouldn't call myself a fan. After you finish streaming Suikoden 2, do you plan to stream Chrono Cross or Tales of Legendia playthrough? No, I'm probably gonna wait until the winter, or at least the fall, to stream another full game. I have my eyes on Suikoden 5, but I can't make any promises. Would you recommend Art No Search? Yes. Well, if you're familiar with that series, yes, I do recommend it. It's the prequel to them all, and it's very good. Just be warned, you know, the weeb stuff, the fan service is really strong in there. I'm a big fan of Trails of Cold Steel, dude. Big fan here, I love it. Time and Eternity. Did I play Valkyrie Profile? Me? What's that? Valkyrie Profile? Never heard of it. Who? Nicki Minaj? What's that? Never heard of that. Do you think we will get a Xenoblade Chronicles X remake on Switch? No, because what's the company? Monolith Soft said that it will be too hard and too expensive to rework the whole game for the Switch. That's what Tetsuya Takahashi, the president of Monolith Soft, said. So he said no. Probably we will never get it. Yes, I played Legend of Legaia on the PlayStation. It's a very good game, underrated game. Favorite non-Japanese RPG? Probably this. It's a Canadian RPG. This, my man. Masterpiece. That's my favorite non-Japanese RPG. Will we ever get another Golden Sun? I have no idea. I don't think so, because the third game sold poorly, and when something sells poorly, Nintendo turns its back on it. Too crowded, yeah. Lots of people today. Thanks for joining, everybody. Brave Story. Brave Story, New Traveler on the PSP. It's pretty good. I think it's a hidden gem. I don't think it's a masterpiece, but it's great. I love the game. What game you will like a remake of? Chrono Cross? I don't want a Chrono Cross remake. The game's perfect as it is. Maybe a remaster, a port, an enhanced port, but not a remake. A remake, probably Xenogears. Have you ever been to anywhere besides Canada and Mexico? Yes, I've been to England. I lived there for four and a half months. And I visited Germany, but that was like 3 days only. That's it. not a really experienced traveler. What do I think of the Saga series? Oh, the whole Saga as a whole. I think they're brutally hard. Most of them cannot be beaten without a guide. I think they have some great ideas, but they're just too cryptic, man. Have you played any indie RPG games? Yes, my favorite is probably Cosmic Star Heroine. I love that game to pieces. Loved it. But other than Cosmic Star Heroine, I have yet to play another indie RPG that's just as good. I was gonna say, you know... what was that RPG that people... Legrand Legacy? I think it's very decent. Do you ever clean shave? I did it once, you know, a long time ago. But nah, not nowadays. I'd like to go to Japan one day, definitely. RPG card games? You mean like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Not a fan, although I am a big fan of Baten Kaitos. You know, the battle system is based on cards, so there. My favorite Dragon Quest game is probably Dragon Quest 11. Yeah, definitely. Not probably, definitely. My favorite Dragon Quest game. Ah, yes, I've played Schoolgirls. Schoolgirls is a very weird ass... very weird ass fighting game, but it's very good. I don't like Tekken. I know that the song played out a while ago. I'm not a fan of Tekken. I don't really like 3D fighting games. Thank you, Mary Kai. Just started rebuilding my retro gaming physical copies. Finished Suikoden and working on Xenosaga, missing 3, but what series would you recommend next? Wow, I have a shit ton of recommendations for you in my channel. I don't know, just totally random. If you like Suikoden and Xenosaga... Trails of Cold Steel? Yeah. Or probably any Fire Emblem game. If you're looking to more of a serious story, play the older Fire Emblem games. Lost Kingdoms is a very underrated hidden gem. More of a hidden gem game on the GameCube. I played the game, never beat it. The final boss beat the crap out of me. And there's a sequel, and it's more expensive, but it's kind of bad. Well, it isn't terrible, but it's like, it did everything wrong. No, Trails of Cold Steel for beginners? Yes, but the problem is, after beating Trails of Cold Steel 2, you're gonna have to play the others, the Trails in the Sky and the Crossbell duology. Is YouTube your primary source of income? Yes. That's a long answer, man. I'm probably gonna have to do a video on my top 5 games of all time. If you're interested, I did a video called My Favorite Non-RPG Game on Every Console. And I've also done top 10s on my favorite RPGs on each console. Who will you include in a Square Enix what? Crossover game? Developed by them? How about Dragon Quest Cross Final Fantasy? Child of Light. Yes, it's a Ubisoft RPG, right? I have the Vita version. It's very good. I never finished the game. It's on my backlog, like many others. 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim is a masterpiece, man. It's an amazing game. One of the best Vanillaware games and one of the best RPGs of this generation. Favorite art styles in Jrpgs? I really like Vanillaware. I really like the art style in Ragnarok Tactics on the PSP. I really like the older Fire Emblem games art style. Really dig it. Do you think the Star Ocean games are still worth playing? Yes, all of them. Well, maybe 5, maybe Star Ocean 5, not too much, but all the others are totally worth playing. My shirt, it's the Nier, it's Emil from Nier. Persona 5 versus Trails of Cold Steel 4. For me, Trails of Cold Steel 4. The Ys anime. There's an anime based on Ys? On which specific Ys? No, I haven't seen it. I didn't even know it existed. Have you ever tried the on-working designs patches for games? Oh, like the one in Popful Mail? No, I haven't. That's the one that I would really want to play the most. The on-working designs version of Popful Mail. Really want to play it. Because, you know, the working designs version is freaking impossible. Working Designs is just a publisher, Matthew. They don't do the games. What you mean, like, you know... What do you mean? What's the next game you're planning on streaming? I don't know. I'm still on Suikoden 2 and I have a long way to go, so I haven't decided. Tokyo Xanadu has excellent gameplay, but the story is kind of bad. Sometimes it tries to get good, but every time it starts getting good, it's ruined by some really lame-ass anime trope, or cliche, or some J-pop idol bullshit high school simulation. I don't think the story is just so Persona wannabe. Poorly done. But I think the gameplay is amazing. The best JRPG developer right now is probably Falcom. Or, because all of the others, you know, some of my favorites, like maybe Vanillaware to Tri-Ace is kind of dead, disappeared. And the big ones like Square Enix or Atlus, well, Atlus is great too. Just let me see Shin Megami Tensei 5 and maybe I'll change my mind. Thanks. Oh yeah, I do have plans for a Nintendo DS tier list. It's gonna take a while though, but I do have plans for one. Worst game you have ever completed. Oh wait a second, so the Ys anime, it's based on Ys Book 1 and 2 and came out in the 90s. Oh! Dave Wittenberg voices Adol, okay. Yeah, welcoming Valkyrie Chronicles, and Dave Wittenberg is the original Teddy in Persona 4. Alright, so I'll look it up, man, thanks. Worst game you have ever completed. I can't say for sure because if I think a game is bad, chances are I'll never complete it. Why? Thank you, Jack Diesel. Why Canada versus Mexico? So bloody cold up here. I prefer the cold. You can you can easily cover from the cold, but you cannot cover from the heat. That's the only reason. And plus, I mean, come on, Canada is a first world country. Compared to the economy and the government, the corruption we have here. What are your expectations of Final Fantasy XVI? I have no expectations whatsoever because I stopped caring about Final Fantasy a long time ago. Is my neighbor still alive? Thank goodness they aren't here. They went away for the weekend and I'm so happy, I'm so glad they aren't here today. But yeah, she's still alive. Monolith Soft or Falcom? Falcom for me. Monolith Soft, I don't know, I'm not the biggest Xenoblade Chronicles fan. So, Falcom. Do you stream on Twitch or only YouTube? Only YouTube. I tried Twitch. I get that question a hell of a lot. You know, I haven't streamed on Twitch for like a year and a half. I stopped streaming there because I didn't like their model of business. They keep 50%, and unless you reach $100 revenue, I mean, you don't get paid. So I just couldn't get into Twitch, you know. Yes, I'm excited for the Legend of Mana remaster. Very excited. Best RPG where you're evil? Well, that will be a spoiler, don't you think? To answer that question. Infinite Space on DS. I did play the game, but I couldn't get into it. The battles were so goddamn slow and boring for me, I quit. I don't think it's a bad game per se, but it's just very hard to get into. Any advice for someone thinking of starting a YouTube channel? Just be yourself, that's the best advice I can give you. People like originality, people like honesty. If you're trying to copy somebody else or steal somebody else's ideas, don't do that, you know, they're gonna know, they're gonna realize that. And if you're gonna become a YouTuber nowadays, you gotta have nerves of steel. Because the community in YouTube is highly toxic, man, so I wish you the best. What RPG franchise do you want brought back the most? Okay, not Suikoden, because Suikoden is a guaranteed it's going to come back under a different name. It's gonna be now a Eiyuden Chronicle. So that would be my answer, but it's technically coming back. So other than Suikoden, probably Growlancer. Should I just start this Gaia with the first one? Ooh, you mean the PS2 version? It's very hard. If you're into really challenging games, big, huge grind fests, yes. If you don't, no, stay away from it. My star sign is Libra. My birthday is on October. My favorite action RPG is Nier. The original Nier on the PlayStation 3. My favorite RPG soundtrack, Chrono Cross, definitely. I know I'm a big right nowadays. I'm all about the Ys music or the Shin Megami Tensei music, but my man Yasunori Mitsuda, Chrono Cross, no one can come even close. GBA or SNES Breath of Fire? Probably GBA version because it looks better, plays better interface, better controls. Difficulty is still there. I think the encounter rate is a little bit less. So yeah, Game Boy Advance version. This, I have it right here. Why don't you like Western RPGs? I did a video on that, dude. It wasn't called why I don't like Western RPGs. It's why I rarely play Western RPGs. You should check it out. What? I mean, the game that Yasunori Mitsuda is scoring soon? I haven't heard anything about that. Fire Emblem 7 versus 8 on GBA. I'm staying with 7, the Blazing Sword. I think they're both equally amazing, but my personal favorite out of those two is 7, the Blazing Sword. Stranger of Sword City. I didn't love the game because it's a first-person dungeon crawler with a bunch of generic characters with no personality. And it's a quest-driven game, so it has almost all the features I don't really like in RPGs. The thing about Stranger in Source City is the art style. There's like several artists, and you can have one character that looks completely different from the other. That was pretty cool, man. What? Something about Sekiro? I played Sekiro, but I didn't get very far into it. I liked it though. I think Sekiro is much better than any Souls game. Yeah. Do I think Square Enix is milking Final Fantasy VII way too much? Yes. Yes, they are, man, and they know it. They fucking know it, and they will continue milking Final Fantasy VII. What Saga game is a good entry? I don't know, man. They're all equally hard to get into. Super Derek RPGs made a video on that, so you might want to check it out. I don't think I'm the best one to give you advice on the Saga series because I'm not the biggest Saga fan. I've only played like 5 games, like Saga Frontier 1 and 2. This is a Saga game, actually. And this... but I don't think I can give you good advice on the Saga series. The Legend of Dragoon is extremely overrated nowadays. It got so goddamn popular because it's the one game that most people keep begging for a remake. I think it's a great game. I love the damn game. I beat the game. Rose, I love Rose with all my heart and soul. She's one of my favorite female characters of all time, but it just became so goddamn popular because just people keep begging and begging and begging for something that ain't gonna happen. Hopefully it will happen, but I don't think it will. Cause Sony. What Dragon Quest games did you play and which ones are you looking forward to? Okay, so I've played almost every single one of them, but most of them I only played them for like 1 or 2 hours, right? The ones that I play the most are Dragon Quest IV, Dragon Quest VII, Dragon Quest VIII, and Dragon Quest XI. The best place to start with Dragon Quest is probably Dragon Quest XI, because it's fairly balanced. It's still hard, but not too hard compared to the others. And I think the Dragon Quest games remakes on the Nintendo DS are solid entries as well. I've played those. I played Dragon Quest V on the Nintendo DS, but I only played like 2 hours. I need to go back to it. My thoughts on Dark Rose Valkyrie. It's a weird game, hard to get into, hard to understand, very complex mechanics, but it's good. I think it's a good game. Mother 3. I haven't played Mother 3. I promised you guys, and I promised Pelvic I will do it, but I haven't. I just haven't gotten the time. Maybe I'll stream the game one of these days. Favorite NIS game? NIS as developed by NIS or just published by them? Because if it's published by them, Trails of Cold Steel 4 is probably my favorite, or Ys 8, Lacrimosa of Dana. My favorite RPG of all time, Chrono Cross. What do I think of Phantasy Star 1 to 4? I think it's a very good series, very important series. 4 is a masterpiece. 3 is okay. 2 is very good if you play with a walkthrough. And I can't stand playing the first one. Or I've only played the original Master System version. Developed by them. Oof. Manakimia 2. Manakimia 2? No, that's Ghost. You're right. This guy a 4. I wish Happy Console Gamer will come to the show. Do you mean to that JRPG show? Well, I'm not in touch with him. He will be a great guest on the show, but I'm not in touch with him, and well, he's like very big, very popular And I've had bad experiences with popular people before. They usually don't reply to my messages, they ignore them, they just pretend they don't have any time. Hard to get a famous people in my channel, you know. But maybe I can ask him one day. My thought on fan-translated Jrpgs, I love them. I'm very grateful. There's a lot of people out there who have the time and the dedication for doing these translations for free, so all of us can play them. I love fan-translated Jrpgs, and my respects and my support always go to these people. Are any of your books on the Google Play bookstore? I don't think so. They're all on Amazon. I don't even know how to upload them on the Google Play store. Didn't it die? Didn't Google Play die? The best mana game. Trials of Mana. Any version. Will we ever get a port of Fantasian? That's what I'm hoping for, because, you know, I think it was a very extremely terrible decision by Mist Walker to release a game for a system no one plays and no one cares about. What the fuck, Hironobu? Which console had the best library? PlayStation 2. Ircha Gaming. I like her channel. You know, I like her videos. I like her style. She's honest. But she focuses way too much on the Switch. I wish she could make more content on other systems. And she will be a great guest on my channel. I'll probably ask her. But a lot of people don't want to be on the show because I'm a very rude person. Because I'm edgy. I've developed a reputation for being edgy. Do you use emulations to play old games? Yes, all the time. I have an emulator. I have a bunch of emulators on the PlayStation Vita TV. So yeah. Which one of your books should I start with? Well, if you want to read the best one, the thing about my books is that they're all vastly different. You know, they're hard to compare, totally different from one another. If you're into gothic, obscure, dark as hell books, the type of, you know, those types of stories with some historical facts into them, I recommend The Reaper's Thorn. In fact, I think it's the best work I've ever written in my life. Otherwise, if you really like games like Fire Emblem or Suikoden, I recommend Terra Gaiden. But it's an old book, it's like 7 years old, and probably 8. It's 8 years old already. And it was my first book in English, so the writing isn't that great, but the story and characters are really good in my opinion. Start with either of those two. Are you afraid of Sony's censorship towards Japanese games? I'm not exactly afraid, but I think it's disappointing. Whenever they censor certain things that probably should be censored, I'm okay, but why localize them in the first place? If you're gonna censor a game, why bring it over? I don't like censorship. But I do believe there are some games that should stay in Japan. What? Which of those games in your top 10 JRPGs you'll never play video do you actually own? I don't understand your question, but it sounds interesting. Thanks, Lucino. What do you think despite many remakes and HD ports, some masterpieces such as Chrono Trigger are not re-proposed? Well, first of all, I don't think Trigger is a masterpiece. I think it's a fantastic game, but I don't know. I think the problem with Trigger is that Square Enix ported the game like crazy to everywhere back in the early 2000s. That they're in a position where they like, you know, why again? You want to bring over this game again? We could probably, hey, Games of War. We could probably use a port on the freaking Switch. The best thing they can do. I'm always bitching about the Nintendo Switch emulators, aren't I? Fuck. Because it's true, man. I mean, you go to the Super Nintendo emulator, and it's bare bones in games. The catalog is fucking poor. What's the problem in including games like Chrono Trigger in there? Come on, Nintendo. Why make an emulator if you're only going to include like 20 fucking games? Thanks for joining, Joshua. Glad to have you here. Why are you so damn lazy? I don't know, man. I've been wondering the same. Which game? Which game with many character deaths do you... What? What? I don't know, man. Many character deaths? What? You mean like permadeath games like Fire Emblem? Oh, man. What is my top 1 of games that need a remake? Xenogears. How old am I? 35. Thanks for joining, Joshua. Do you know any magical girl? I know a lot. Probably there's a little franchise called Atelier. Pretty famous. Which action series would you like to see a JRPG version of? Action as in like God of War, Devil May Cry, something like that. The Devil May Cry RPG will be bonkers. A Castlevania RPG, or a true RPG. Like a turn-based Castlevania RPG. Give me that, man. Favorite Atlus game. Atlus as in developed by Atlus. Probably Devil Survivor. The darkest RPG ever made is probably either Bloodborne or the Nier games are pretty damn dark. Yeah, Castlevania RPG, Jack Diesel. Will you play the Fable series? I played the Fable series. I played the first one, the first two. The first one was pretty damn cool at the beginning, but after a while, I don't know, I grew tired of it. I lost interest, and the second one just didn't catch me. Man, yeah, turn-based Metroid RPG. Yeah. How about a crossover, with Nintendo characters in a turn-based RPG or a strategy RPG like Project Cross Zone? How would you feel about a Legend of Dragoon prequel that takes place during the original Dragon campaign? I will feel pretty great. I will definitely play that. No, it doesn't need to be turn-based, but with really, really strong RPG elements at least. Action, strategy, whatever. Real-time strategy if they want. When are you ranking all PS Vita JRPGs? It's not too far away, probably this year. I'm still missing a bunch of games that I need to play before I do a ranking. And the thing about Vita is that I don't really have a lot of PS Vita fans in my channel. Most of the Vita videos that I've done kind of didn't do very well in views, so I'm not really looking forward on ranking all the PS Vita JRPGs. Have you ever heard of The Wizard of Oz Beyond? Yes, on the Nintendo DS. It's it's not bad, but it isn't good. Which RPG did you think you wouldn't enjoy but ended up loving? Octopath Traveler. Everybody told me it was like the Saga games, that it was like, and I hated it. It pissed me off, man, but I ended up loving the game. That's a great example, Octopath Traveler. I also thought I wasn't going to enjoy Xenoblade Chronicles Torna. I still have a love-hate relationship with the game because of what they did at the end, but I loved what I played of it. I thought it was going to be like, what a boring game, right? No, I love the game. How is Travel Octopath is too underrated? It's very popular. I don't think it... Well, that's just my opinion. I think it's a very popular game. I already answered that question, dude. I already answered my thoughts on the Fable series. Pay attention. Have you played the Yakuza Saga? I only played Yakuza Like a Dragon for a little bit. I liked it. And I also played the first Yakuza on the PlayStation 2. Couldn't get into it. Gravity Rush. I did play Gravity Rush. I don't have the game, so I've never played the first one. I played the second one on the PlayStation 4 at Oscar's house. And I remember I liked it, but I had a hard time getting into it. She's hard to control, hard controlling the gravity things. I think he has very unique ideas, but you know, it's hard to get into for me. Which is the best Tales of story? Whew. Berseria probably has the best story in the entire series. Berseria. I'm not a fan of Mass Effect. I played the first one. I know you're gonna say play Mass Effect 2 is the best, but what's the point of playing it if you didn't play the original? I'm not gonna understand the story. Ni no Kuni 1 versus 2. I'm staying with 2 because I don't really like the Pokemon features in the first game, so I couldn't get into it. So I think I have both games, but I think Ni no Kuni 2 was more appealing for me. Yeah, this bastard here. Yes, I play this bastard. Another game I have a love-hate relationship with. Really hard game and unbalanced. I live in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Video game with the best soundtrack, Chrono Cross, forever. Even people who don't like Chrono Cross admit it has an amazing soundtrack. What's the hardest boss you've ever beaten in an RPG? Jesus, man. I could make... Most of them will be from Code Vein or Octopath Traveler. Yes, I do accept fan mail. I mean, right now it's kind of tricky to send things to Mexico. A friend of mine sent me a few games, but they got stolen in the US border. Can you believe? I mean, UPS stole my package. Can you believe that? In USA, not in Mexico. But yes, I do accept fan mail. Did playing RPGs when you were younger help you learn English? Yes! Yes, indeed, it helped a hell of a lot. RPGs, books helped out a hell of a lot too. Books and music and movies. Chrono Cross for me. I think Xenogears is a great game, but it needs a remake. Chrono Cross for me. Yeah, oh yeah, Rogue Galaxy, the last boss. Fucking bullshit. The last boss of Tales of Zestiria. What a bunch of fucking horseshit, man. The Tales of Zestiria, you had to do this combo thing with one of your characters, Rose, I think. Oh man, that was horrible. Do you think Atlus should stop milking Persona and focus on the main Shin Megami Tensei? Yes, I don't think they should focus only on Shin Megami Tensei, but they should probably stop milking Persona. But if they don't milk Persona, there's no money for them, enough money to focus on Shin Megami Tensei. So one thing needs, it's like a necessary, milking Persona is a necessary evil. Worst final boss in any RPG? Tales of Zestiria. Like, what the fuck is up with that, man? You don't need to... I don't want to bitch about the game anymore. No, I haven't finished Nocturne already. I'm waiting for the remaster because it's gonna have an easy mode. They need to make Raidu Kusunoha 3. Yeah. Suikoden 2 or Final Fantasy 7? Suikoden 2 by far. I like Final Fantasy 7. I love the damn game, but I think Suikoden 2 is far superior. What? Underrated game of every big RPG series. Yeah, I did. There's one video I did on 4 of them. It was supposed to become a series, but I totally ditched that for some reason. The video did fairly well in views, so I have no excuse not to have continued making that series on the most underrated RPG of every series. But hey, if you're interested, watch that one. There's 4 series I covered in there. My first tactical RPG was Final Fantasy Tactics, and I hated the game. And therefore I hated every single tactical RPG game. That's until I got my hands on Eternal Poison, and that's the one that got me into strategy RPGs. And thanks to that game, I ended up playing Final Fantasy Tactics much later, again, and I liked it. Have you made... No, I have never made a video game. How do I start writing a book? I just start. Usually I have a bunch of ideas, and the ones, you know, like story ideas, like plot ideas, hey, I really want to make a story about this and that, or another story about this and this setting with these types of characters or this style and all that jazz. And usually when I really want to sit down and start writing, I only take one of those ideas, and it's the one that, you know, feels right at that particular moment. That's how I usually base my ideas on my experiences, my personal experiences, and what I'm experiencing at the moment. So that's what usually gets me to sit down and write. Best female protagonist in a JRPG, Lenneth Valkyrie from Valkyrie Profile. Lenneth Valkyrie, she's the best. I'm not really into open world RPGs, so I don't think I can help you with that. That's a good idea for a video, the best written villain in JRPGs. You know, I've never done a video on the bad guys. Maybe I will someday. Demon Gaze on the Vita. Yes, I have the game. It's not my type of game, but it's good. No, I'm not a fan of System of a Down. I like a few songs, but not really. Easiest JRPG in my opinion is Rhapsody, a musical adventure. It's on the Nintendo DS and it's also on the PlayStation. By far the easiest RPG I've ever played in my life. Walk in the freaking park. My favorite action RPG is Nier, the first one. 3 Crescendo is such an underrated company, man. They should come back. They should do more RPGs. We need more Bats and Kaitos, Eternal Sonata. A lot. RPGs I have never finished. I haven't finished yet. A lot. Any of the farming RPGs? Like, you know, like Harvest Moon, Rune Factory. Nah. Not really. Thank you, Surf. No problem, man. Ha! I'm the reason you play the Nier Automata? Wow. Thanks, man. Most boring JRPGs. Chemco. Come on, man. Some of the Chemco RPGs are pretty darn boring. Minecraft? I did play Minecraft and I couldn't get into it. I didn't even know what I was doing. God Eater. God Eater is a series that I've only played the first 2. I've never played the third one. I hope it's better than the first 2. They're good games, but they aren't outstanding because they're very quest driven and they're very, very repetitive. I like their style. I love the anime. There's an anime based on God Eater. I loved it. It's very good. I just wish the games could focus more on, you know, just wish the landscapes, the missions your characters get sent into, you know, will be different. I don't know, man. They need more variety. They're very repetitive. Flick or Victor? Victor. Have you ever played Infinite on Discovery? Yes, I have. Yeah, it's short. It's a game that you can beat in like 25 hours, right? I think it's a great game, Infinite on Discovery. It's hard to get into at first, but the story kind of pulls you in. Something pulled me in of that game that made me love it in the end. No, I've never beaten Final Fantasy 15, and I probably never will. I don't like the game. Do you think there will be a Vagrant Story 2? No, I got the feeling that it was just a standalone title, never to become a series. In fact, Matsuno, the developer, said that he never intended Vagrant Story to be connected to Ivalice at all. Worst voice acting in an RPG? Chaos Wars. Nothing comes even close. Chaos Wars on the PlayStation 2. Great game though, but the voice acting is just terrible. Have companies reached out to you for sponsorships? Only the independent companies or the unknown, obscure companies. Most of the companies who have approached me for sponsorship are mobile game companies. I don't even reply to them anymore. I'm like, I don't cover mobile games. I don't like mobile games, and in fact, I'm a little bit against them. Sadly, I wish more console companies would approach. I was approached by a company that works for Atlus and several other big companies, and they actually gave me a free code for a Switch RPG called Kowloon High School something. It was pretty original. Anyway, favorite villain in RPGs. I don't think I have one. Well, maybe I have a couple, but they're kind of spoilers. Underrated Star Ocean game? You probably missed my PS3 video of underrated JRPGs. How did you afford game systems and games when you were a kid? I didn't actually. Most of them were trades or people just giving them away, or maybe my mom would buy one or two every year. I didn't have a lot of video games when I was a kid. What game made you lose your mind? Octopath Traveler. Pissed me off so bad, man. Favorite The Legend of Heroes character? Laura, my girl. Laura Arcid. Well, Estelle. If we're talking about the entire franchise, Estelle Bright. She's my all-time favorite. Such weird questions. No, I'm not a fan of Kingdom Hearts. The only Kingdom Hearts game I've ever finished is Kingdom Hearts 2 on the PS2. How do you not rage quit with difficulty spikes? I rage quit all the time, dude. I'm the rage quit guy on YouTube. What RPG are you most looking forward to releasing? Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Tales of Arise. Probably Hajimari no Kiseki 2. Have you played Last Rebellion? Only for like 5 minutes, or 10 minutes, so not really. That's one of the games I'm missing on the PS3. I've heard it's a terrible game, and that the director of Knees of America apologized for localizing the game. It's that bad, apparently. The most expensive JRPG you have in your collection? Suikoden 2. Yeah, I think it's the most expensive. Yeah. Suikoden 2. Any RPG you really want to play but can't get your hand on it? Ys 9. Because Ys 9 right now it's crazy expensive here in Mexico. And I can import the game from the US or Canada, but it's always plus taxes, plus shipping, and it's over $100. It's crazy, man. My favorite Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy 9. Yes, I'm looking forward to Eiyuden Chronicle. Are you interested in Fantation? No, because I don't have an Apple whatever. Don't get me talking about Fantation, man. I'm very, very angry with Mistwalker right now. Like, what the fuck? They went mobile and they released their games for such inaccessible systems. Like, why did they abandon consoles? Like Hironobu Sakaguchi, he doesn't give a fuck anymore, man. No, I've never tried learning Japanese. Sounds like an extremely complicated system. Language. Yes, I streamed Bravely Default 2 recently. I thought it looked amazing. I thought it was pretty good. But I realized it wasn't really my type of RPG. I'm probably gonna give it a second chance. When do I think Hajimari no Kiseki, Ao no Kiseki and Zero are coming to the West? Hajimari, I think it's been confirmed to come by the end of the year. And the other two, hopefully this year as well. Favorite Drakengard Nier game? The first one, the first Nier is a masterpiece on the PS3. I loved it. It's my favorite. Which is the greatest RPG you've ever played? Chrono Cross. 7th Saga live stream coming soon. No. No way, man. Will you make a playthrough series of Tales of Arise? I'll probably stream the game, but not a complete playthrough. Erick, what do you think of buying and searching for used games in Latin America? Well, my friend, right now it's fucked up, isn't it? It's fucked up. Prices are insane. I stopped looking, I stopped collecting when I came back from Canada because the prices are just ridiculous here. My favorite Summon Night game is probably Summon Night Swordcraft Story on the Game Boy Advance. The first one. I loved it. I don't like gacha games, man. The only one I ever played was Fire Emblem Heroes. I loved it, but that's the only one I've ever played. Yeah, Skies of Arcadia. Skies of Arcadia is a great game. Never finished it though. My favorite book series from another author is probably the Vampire Chronicles from Anne Rice. I love the first 3 books, are very influential in my life. It took me forever to learn English, man, I'm still learning. It would be a good idea to stream Shadow Hearts 2, but at the same time it wouldn't because the game has really strong spoilers of the first game. That's why I've never streamed Shadow Hearts 2. Worst JRPG ending? Some of the endings in... I think Girl Lancer 2. Girl Lancer 2 has a pretty meh ending. Like, the game just ends with a very small scene and that's it. That game was so hard. The least they could do is add an amazing ending. A Stargazer. I don't know the game, but if you think it's a huge piece of shit, I'm not gonna play it. Are there good games shops in Mexico for retro or new games? Yes, they are. They're far away from where I live, but there are some pretty decent ones. Which version of Skies of Arcadia is the best? The GameCube version is the best. Because the Dreamcast version has a shit ton of random encounters. I do have a lot of games in mint condition. A lot of them. I'm that kind of guy. I do have games in not so good condition too, but I'm the kind of guy who usually tries to get whatever he can on mint condition. Thank you, Jeff Beal. Thank you very much for your feedback, buddy. What are your thoughts on the Parasite Eve series? Well, not too good. I think the first Parasite Eve is a masterpiece. Wish it could have been slightly longer. The second Parasite Eve, I didn't like it. And the third one is something completely different. It's a good game. It's better than the second one in my opinion, but it's not an RPG anymore. It's a third-person shooter. Have you done a video on the status Jrpg deaths? No, because that would spoil games like crazy. Huge spoilers, so no. Nope, I've never played Blue Reflection, and from what I've seen, doesn't look like a game I want to play. I haven't played Disco Elysium either, but that's a game that I do want to play. Soul Hackers, probably the music is Soul Hackers, yeah. Have you ever seen Spoonie's old Final Fantasy reviews? No? Spoonie? So that's a YouTuber? No? Did you play Indivisible from the same guys? Yes, I have the game on the PS4, Indivisible. It's very, very unbalanced. Very hard. And not in a good sense, in my opinion. It's a good game, but I don't think it's that good. Yes, thanks for asking, man. The algorithm got better with the Nier video. It did. It wasn't a huge success. The video didn't go viral, but I'm happy with the results. What's my favorite dish? And you're asking that with that username, Fresh Burrito? My favorite dish, I don't think I have one because most of the Mexican dishes are great. I love them all. I think I'm gonna go with... There's one called Carne en su jugo. That's the one. Yes, I played Uta Wareru Mono, and I streamed the game recently. I streamed Mask of Deception recently. I will stream Nier Replicant as soon as I get my hands on it. I don't have it. Valkyrie profile is $600 on eBay. Jesus fucking Christ. Do you prefer Replicant or Automata? I haven't played Replicant yet. Only the original on the PS3. Are you into superheroes? I guess I was into Spider-Man when I was little. Out of nostalgia, I still watch almost everything Spider-Man related nowadays, but not really. The answer is no, I'm not. The answer is nah. Why not making a video about the best JRPG openings ever? Because I'm not really a fan of JRPG openings. Half of them are... They have these J-pop songs that I don't really like. I'm not into that kind of music. What game have you replayed the most? Chrono Cross, probably. Will you consider to invite Food for Dogs as a guest for That JRPG show? She and I are in touch, actually. We had a really awesome conversation. We talk often. We usually exchange experiences as YouTubers and tips and tricks, how to handle the YouTube channel, the community and shit. I asked her on the show, but she said no. She has her reasons. If you want to know her reasons, go and ask her. But she declined my invitation. But we're still in touch. I prefer Nier Gestalt than Automata because I think the story is stronger. The fan service wasn't that overwhelming like it was in Automata. I know Kaine is overly sexualized, but there's a reason for that, explained in the game. I think the story was more emotional for me. I just thought it had a better story. Wild Arms 5 is the best Wild Arms in my opinion. Yeah, man, $500, still crazy. Stage 1, I'll probably never forget that name. Jesus, man. Yeah, I played Ashura's Wrath. Ashura's Wrath on the 360. I played it. I didn't get very far. It was in a friend's house. My friend Oscar, he's a huge fan of that game, and we played it for a little bit. I thought it was great. Some missions were kind of not too fun, but others were great. I think it's a very original game. What? Who do I need to... What? Oh, you want Exist Archive on the Switch? Why would you want that game on the Switch, man? I think it's great on the PS4 and the PS Vita. Plus, it's usually dirt cheap, right? It's very cheap. The game is usually on sale for like $10. Oscar is real, man. I have a channel in Spanish with him, and I have had Oscar in a few videos here in my channel in English. He was there in the Dragon Quest Swords video. And in the Jrpgs for 2 players or more. What do I think of the Disgaea series? I think it's great, but I think they're just too damn grindy, most of them. But they're great, I'm a fan. Not the biggest fan, but a fan. Best PS4 strategy RPG? Probably Valkyrie Chronicles 1 and 4. My channel in Spanish is called Discusión Gamer. In fact, if you go to YouTube right now and type Discusión Gamer, you'll see the channel right away. It's in Spanish with my friend Oscar. None of the Kingdom Hearts games made me cry. Hey Kevin, do you read comic books? If so, do you have a favorite series? I don't. I have a few comic books from my childhood. You know, like Weapon X with Wolverine, some Spider-Man comics. But I don't really read comics anymore. Do you like games that have tons of unique characters for options as party members? I do too, man. I love Fire Emblem, Suikoden, Girl Lancer, Chrono Cross, Radiata stories. I love... yeah. Oh, you mean unique characters as in... you mean guest characters? Like in Final Fantasy XII, right? And Infinite of Discovery. Yeah, I do. I like it a lot when I have a guest character. It's too bad sometimes because sometimes the guest character is so awesome and you're like, man, I wish this was a permanent party member, but they go away. But yeah, I like guest characters a lot. Did you ever play a Tales of game with a friend? We tried a few of them. I tried a few of them with different people, but I've never finished a single one of them with somebody else. Well, I finished a lot with somebody else, but, you know, not with 2 controllers simultaneously. Thousand Arms for the PlayStation. Yeah, it's a great game. I never finished the game because I got stuck in a dungeon late in the game, and I didn't know where to go or what to do, and I just left it. I ditched the game, but I never went back to it, but it's a great game. Do you like crossover games? I love them. I'm a big fan. I did a video on the best JRPG crossovers. Bug? Fables? Never heard of it. Yes, I'm excited for Tales of Arise. Looks really freaking cool, man. Tales of Arise. What are some Trails of Kiseki characters you wish to see return in the next installment? Well, Hajimari no Kiseki is the next installment, and it's like a follow-up to the other games, right? So it's probably gonna have a lot of character cameos or, you know, main starring, you know, in the game. So oh, just give me Estelle back. All I want is Estelle Bright back. I love her so much. Thank you very much, Breath of the Wild. Tales of Destiny 2 is getting fan translated. Finally? Finally? When? Well, when will we ever see a release of that game? You know, that's the question. It's been... there's been several attempts, and each and every one of them has abandoned the project. I mean, it's a good thing, but... when? I don't like Shadow of the Colossus, but I love Echo. Loved Echo. Echo is probably one of my favorite games on the PS2 that are not RPGs. Alright, last questions, guys. Last questions. I need to go. Tomorrow is Mother's Day, but today is Sunday, and we're gonna celebrate my mom today. Huh. Have you played this NES fan translation of Star Ocean? Nope. No, I didn't. I played the official fan translation on the official translation on the PSP, First Departure. Did you ever talk about Kuro no Kiseki? No, I didn't. Because I don't want to give people hope. We're not sure when the hell are we gonna get that game. If we get it, we probably will. But right now, I don't think I want to make any videos about Kuro no Kiseki, because we're still very far from getting it. Right. First, we gotta get Hajimari no Kiseki. Are you going to play Persona 5 Strikers? Yes, I will. I don't have the game. I'm waiting for an opportunity. I'm waiting for the game to go down. So, but yeah, I really want to play it. Oh, that's a good question for a video. I'm planning a video. It was suggested by Breath of the Wild, who was just here on bad JRPGs with great soundtracks. What JRPG would you most like to see get a remake? Xenogears. But don't turn it into an action RPG, Square. No! Turn-based remake of Xenogears. Have you ever got scammed for games online? No. Because I've never paid a single penny for playing online, and I barely play online actually. I only play online with my friend. Or if you mean like MMORPGs, I stopped playing them a long time ago. Chrono Trigger remake? Maybe just a remaster version for modern systems. You know, not really a remake. But if people want a remake, then remake. Give us a remake. What should happen so you review Bravely Default 2? First of all, I don't do reviews. So, yeah. It's probably not gonna happen. Suikoden Tear Cries on the Nintendo DS. Was it any good? It is good. It is very good, actually. It's not as good as the main Suikoden games, but it's great nonetheless. I really liked Suikoden Tear Cries on the Nintendo DS. It's one of my favorite DS RPGs of all time. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Sonic. Thank you very much, dude. My favorite anime is Ergo Proxy. Ergo Proxy. Favorite anime of all time. What game made you emotional? Besides Chrono Cross? Tales of Legendia. Probably. Near to the first Nier. Is 8. Have you played the 2 visual novels on Suiko Gaiden 1 and 2? Yes, I played them. They're fully fan translated, and I think more people should play them. Last questions. Ask your last goddamn questions. Do you have any videos regarding the best RPG games for the Nintendo DS? Yes, I do, buddy. Just type Erick Landon Nintendo DS on YouTube and you'll see them. I have a few videos on that. Who are your favorite characters? Oh, that's a long answer, man. Do you buy digital if physical is expensive? Good question. Not really. I only buy digital when games are like $5 or less, unless there's only a digital version of them. They didn't get a physical version, and even that I'm kind of, frugal. I always wait for a game to be for like $10 or less. I'm very, very frugal when it comes to digital media. The most underrated console ever made for what? For RPGs? Probably the Sega Genesis or the Wii itself, The Wii gets a lot of trash because of the shovelware, but it does have some really cool RPGs on them. Hey Corey, what is your favorite battle system and most hated battle system? My favorite battle system is Fire Emblem. Any Fire Emblem. Maybe the ones on the Game Boy Advance or the GameCube one. That's my favorite battle system of all time. And my most hated battle system is probably the one in Natural Doctrine. Or Resonance of Fate. But no, I think the one in Natural Doctrine is worse. Far worse. Yes, Caligula over those. I played the original Caligula Effect on the Vita. I didn't play the remake on the Switch or port or whatever. I played the original on the Vita and it was fucking terrible, man. I hated the game. What do your parents think of your life as a YouTuber? They're very proud. They're very surprised because they're old. I mean, it's so shocking to see people making a living out of it. Millions of people make a living out of this right nowadays, right? But they're very proud and they like it. They like what I do. What? No, I don't do drugs, dude. Favorite battle system, Tales of... Oh. Alright guys, I think that's it. One last question. What was your last job before YouTube? I was a video game reseller. I had a shop, I had a store, and I shut it down when I moved to England. And when I came back from England, I tried to reopen it. I had this small kiosk on a mall for like 6 months. It didn't really work, but that was my last job. I was a video game reseller. And that's all for tonight, people. Tonight, whatever. That's it. Thanks for watching. Well, okay, one last question. Oh, Miami Sunrise, thank you very much. Thanks, man. He says I've done a great job with this channel. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. Glad to know you still like what I do. And glad to know you guys still like what I do, and I'm so glad to have you all here. And I appreciate the fact that you came here to join and answer and ask your goddamn questions. But that's all for today, people. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. If you want to join the Suikoden 2 stream, it's getting better. It's getting great. Getting more interesting. More recruitment incoming. See you guys tomorrow. Or if you don't want to join, you'll see me on Tuesday with a really interesting video that I'm planning for Tuesday. Thanks for watching, everybody. See you guys next time.